The Arctic. Stretching over 14.5 million kilometers, this massive wasteland tundra is home to foxes, polar bears, and walruses. The diversity of the Arctic cannot be understated. Thousands of species call this frozen expanse their home. Unfortunately, this beautiful part of nature is under threat by the melting of its polar ice caps, created by increasing global temperatures. The massive destruction of these habitats is primarily caused by climate change. Climate change is the current warming trend the world faces, caused by increased CO2 emissions and unsustainable usage of greenhouse gases. With global temperatures steadily increasing by about 1.14 degrees Celsius from the 19th century, the planet is steadily warming, and it will soon reach the tipping point. But climate change doesn't only affect the Arctic.
The roaring chaos of traffic, people going about busy with their day, but even here, climate change is affecting the Golden Gate City. San Francisco is known for its many tall buildings and diverse community, but what you didn't know is that many greenhouse gases are emitted from the buildings. Carbon levels rise and get trapped, leading to temperature rises throughout the year. Over the years, air quality in the Bay Area has gotten significantly worse, leaving people with potential health risks. Families fear for their kids as the world declines in a loss of resources. These conditions can destroy our weather patterns, leaving us in a drought as well. In the Bay Area, the reason for a lot of our carbon emission is produced mainly from transportation, and we're the ones causing it. We're the ones to blame, destroying our natural air with carbon. As technology has advanced, it leaves 30 million tons of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere each year. San Francisco is gasping for air as coastal fog seems to disappear and appear much less frequently. Muggy skies and sea levels have risen, with California being one of the most populated states. Our atmosphere will never be the same, and what has been done cannot be reversed.
Climate change has seen an enormous spike since the Industrial Revolution, which introduced a lot more carbon emissions into the atmosphere, which in turn increased global temperatures on Earth. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, humans have increased atmospheric CO2 concentration by 47% since the Industrial Revolution began. This is the most important long-living forcing of climate change. This increase in global temperatures has resulted in melting ice, higher sea level, which have seen an 8-inch rise since the Industrial Revolution, droughts, and many other things that affect the environment on a global scale. It has even resulted in changes to the global water cycle. Despite the negative effects on the environment, we still haven't learned, and according to the NOAA 2019 Global Climate Summary, the combined land and ocean temperature has increased at an average of 0.07 degrees Celsius per decade since 1880. However, the average rate of increase since 1981 is more than twice as great. This increase in fossil fuels correlates with an increase in global temperatures as emissions from humans increase temperatures. One of the main contributors to climate change today is the burning of fossil fuels, which releases more greenhouse gases that get trapped in the atmosphere and increase global temperatures. However, it's not only the environment suffering. People are also suffering on a global scale and are greatly affected by this. Climate change can result in famine, drought, and disease that harm human populations and disproportionately harm children around the world.
Climate change is an environmental justice issue because certain groups of people in the United States are disproportionately affected by climate change and are less able than others to adapt to or recover from climate change impacts. This includes living in areas particularly vulnerable to climate change, also including coping with higher levels of existing health risks when compared to other groups, living in low-income communities with limited access to healthcare services, and also having high rates of uninsured individuals who have difficulty accessing quality healthcare, like people who live in poverty. To tackle these environmental issues, we should acknowledge the damage and try to repair it. We should also implement cleanup sites where environmental damage has been done. We should also create an equitable system for decision making so that there's not an undue burden placed on disadvantaged communities. Call out officials who are making decisions that are not in the best interest of the people they represent, and partner with universities to conduct peer-reviewed studies of health impacts to help validate and draw attention to the experiences of disadvantaged communities.
We may be the ones causing climate change, but we can put a stop to it. We can use technology to improve and streamline our public transport systems to reduce fossil fuel usage by a huge margin. Doing so could save more than 300,000 automobile fill-ups per day. Improving traffic infrastructure by redesigning signal lights and incentivizing the use of public transport will allow the general public to see taking the bus or the train as a better, more viable option. These improvements also include using electric-powered vehicles to minimize the carbon footprint being made. This is just one of the many ways people can help stop carbon emissions and climate change. The Earth needs your help, and by calling for change in public infrastructure, we may be able to save it. It won't be easy. Even with the general population's support, public transport would have to improve at an unprecedented rate in order to see real change. On top of that, big corporations, including the automobile industry, hold vast power and wealth, and such a solution would be detrimental to their business. As a result, they will do everything in their power to keep things the way they are, as destroying the environment only ends in their benefit. But if we work together, we can save our planet and secure this beautiful world for our future generations.